So some of the things that we've been working on with the appointment booking has been trying to really fine tune it so that way when it actually comes to all of your guys' dashboard, these little things that I'm about to show you will already be fixed. So keep that in mind. The demo that I'm going to be showing you is still kind of like our first initial version and demo of this scheduling feature. So certain things like having the having time zones. Time zones is basically like one of the big things that we're having to deal with, because when we go and basically pull availability from a calendar, we then have to do some sort of conversions. That way that time can be, read and understand by both the user, the chatbot, and the system. Hey, Sean. And so basically what we're trying to optimize is it will work with any time zone with any time zone for the admin, the user who's actually setting up the bot, but then it will also work with any time zone of the actual user itself. So hopefully that will make sense when I show you guys that. So I'll share my screen real quick.
Amazing outfit.
Hey, Dan. Thanks. Alrighty. So I'm going to walk you through this. So basically there's going to be a new tab. So right now you might see a coming soon to the scheduling tab feature. Once this is out, you'll have the ability to connect your Google Calendar, set your availability, and all these things. But what we want to show you is that's not kind of the end of it. So from the get-go, we're going to try to get Zoom, Outlook, and GHL all working with native integrations. So that way it will be able to go and pull calendar availability and then be able to book a meeting with a user. And I'll go over the high level of how this works in a minute, but I want to show you guys the visual of it so that you have some sort of context in your mind about how this is going to look moving forward. So this will be a bot specific feature. So because in theory, each user or each sub account or each chatbot could be in theory used by an individual business, each bot will have their ability to have their own calendar connections. So each bot will be able to have this be specific to its own bot. So you won't be restricted by, having to sign up through your one account that then, limits you essentially. So this basically allows all of your clients to connect their calendar, whichever one they want to connect to, directly to that specific chatbot that is in their specific account. And it's optional. So it's not necessary. So you have to enable it. When you do enable it, that's when you're able to actually connect to the Google Calendar feature. So this will show up as able to be clicked on to be connected to. It will also then show you the defining of your availability. Right now, it just shows you one, from a time to a time. But what we will be adding is similar functionality to something like Calendly, where you can set multiple time zones or slots per day. So if you want to go from 12 a.m. to, 10 a.m. Or 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then break for 2 hours and then go from 12 to 3, you could set that in this set availability section. And then when you click the connect to Google Calendar, right now it says Stammer. However, we actually picked up bookmeetings.ai. So that will be a completely dead domain in the sense that it's not going to be like, if somebody goes to bookmeetings.ai, it's going to be an empty page. There won't be anything shown there, but it will be shown here. So that way, when anybody goes to sign up, it won't show Stammer. It will show this very generic AI, bookingmeetings.ai. And this is kind of how GHL does it with Lead Connector. This Lead Connector is their quote unquote like brandless brand. And so that we have to kind of do that in order to make this connection. We have to create an app basically with Google in order for this to make this work. So Instead of it saying Stammer, no one will see it. It'll say generic, AI chatbot scheduling. Once you've connected it, your calendar will be connected. And what's going to happen is at runtime, when a conversation is happening with a user, and for example, let's say the user is interested in booking a meeting, at runtime, the bot will go to your calendar. It will look for the current availability over the next 7 days, and then it will return that availability in time slots based off of what you've set in the settings here. And that will be sent to the user. The user can then select, respond back with a time slot, and then that meeting will be booked. So you can change all of the time zones and all that good stuff. And so basically when somebody is interested in having a call, it's going to go get that availability and then showcase the availability and then ask the user to confirm which slot they'd like, at which point when they do, that meeting will then show up. And if you go to your calendar, that meeting is then showing up in your calendar. We've also added the ability to send all of this data to a webhook. So you can see appointment scheduling webhook URL. This will be the same function that happens when a lead comes in and you collect all their information. That process can also happen via here as well. So regardless of whatever CRM system you're using, you can update that platform wherever your clients are at, wherever your users are at, to then make sure their pipeline is updated based off of, the trigger that this meeting was booked. So, high level, a couple things to note. We're working on customizations for a lot of these processes. So for example, right now it's showing all current availability for the next 7 days. That's way too much for a typical user. Like if you were to book a meeting with a friend or, schedule a meeting, hey, when are you free? Like, oh, I'm, Wednesday night, maybe Friday night. They're not going to say all these times. So what we're working on now that we've figured out this first iteration, again, we do everything in building blocks. So now that we have this first kind of iteration done, what we're going to do is try to optimize it so that way these little tweaks are fixed prior to us giving it to you guys. And once we are able to give it to you guys, we're going to enable it for all of our agency users to get early feedback. So anybody that's on a paid plan will get early access to that, and we'll be talking with you guys in the Discord about getting your feedback and your use cases, because this is a very complex feature, because there's a lot of edge cases that can happen depending on which calendar, the format, the structure of the conversation, how you're trying to generate leads, or how you're trying to get that meeting to be booked, if it's positioned to the user, if the user's trying to ask for the meeting. So we're trying to accommodate all of these scenarios basically, so that way it works as best as it can when you guys start playing around with it. So that was a lot. Take a sip of coffee here. Anybody have any questions on any of that?
Looks amazing.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's such powerful functionality.
Yeah,
a lot of work.
Sorry?
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. So the main thing that we're going to be doing kind of after this, once we get this fully built out for you guys to start testing it, we're going to be really focused on implementing it for our own website and our own funnel, because we want to be able to use it to book meetings on my calendar that I can then go onto those meetings and be like, hey, this worked for you. It's probably going to work for your clients. I've done that in the past with my, different automations and things, but I want it to be on my website. I want it to be behind my Instagram, my Facebook, my, SMS channel, my WhatsApp channel, like all of them. And the idea is we're going to make that bot that will answer people's questions about what it is that we're all trying to sell, which is AI solutions. So we're going to make one that we're using ourselves that will answer questions about AI solutions, generate leads by collecting their information and then booking an appointment. We're going to package all of that up into a templated base system prompt and then drop that into everyone's account for free. That doesn't go against your allocation of chatbots. So that way everyone will have a optimized bot that they can then go into the base system prompt, change the placeholder names, company name, company, email support, whatever it may be. And then you now have a bot that is fully optimized to sell the AI thing that you're using to sell itself, basically. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Okay, cool. We're getting kind of meta there with different layers of reselling things, but I think we realize that we kind of just have to make it and then give it to everybody, and then everyone uses that to then sell it to everyone else. And as it stands right now, the main feature that we're all trying to sell, which is booking, like generating more meetings, is not really available. Like you can do it pseudo with providing links and all that, which has been working great for us. And I know Dan's been doing that. But this is kind of that taking it to the next level where it's all within the conversation and conversational booking, which is, I think, where the entire industry is going to start to head. We're going to start to see copycats everywhere with this. So that's that. That's the main big updates. There's a lot of other kind of smaller things. We actually brought on another engineer, another full-time engineer to help us with all of the other stuff. So while our main core team is working on this, the core functionality of these big features, we brought in another engineer to help us with all of these back-end kind of stuff, that pre-position questions, customizing of the inline element, pop-ups. Like there's a lot of stuff that's in the backlog that I know that we've been kind of slacking on, but we to this point we've had to kind of pick and choose our battles to focus on try to get what's going to move the needle for all of us, essentially. And that's calendar booking without a doubt. So we're very close to on our timeline. We were hoping to get this out to be launched live by the end of the month, and I think we're going to be able to do that by next week. So we're about within 5 days, which I think is pretty good for this big of a feature. So I'm pretty happy with awesome. How we're progressing. Questions?
Very good.
Ideas?
I'll pop in. I know this isn't a question or an idea.
Okay.
I've obviously missed on a lot of these meetings. I just got to say this. I'm really very impressed with how much functionality that's been built into this over the course of the last couple of months. Just exceedingly impressed. And whatever went on the back burner to make it happen, I just feel like you pulled out all the stops to get the right features. That calendar booking and obviously lead gen are both very, very, very impressive to me, and give me a new energy for using this. Whereas when, a couple months ago, okay, where's it going to go?
Yeah.
Let me just say, I'm really very, very impressed.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that.
Got a couple of questions, Ross.
Yeah.
First one is, I put one of the prompts that was actually one of the examples. It was chiropractor.
Okay.
And it didn't work. It kind of just didn't do anything at all. I did contact support. Be honest, I haven't checked my email, so they may have got back to me. But any idea why?
I mean, that's like at all? Like,
no, it basically just went to the answer at the end. It didn't do anything. It kind of just got stuck almost.
Oh.
And yet, we literally copied and pasted it, so I know I hadn't done anything wrong.
Well, that's odd.
Yeah, I thought so. I told them that at the time.
Yeah. You're in the Discord, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's you and I chat about that in the Discord, because I'll test that myself. I mean, it's
whether there's something missing when you copy and paste it, but logically not. But
logically no, yeah. And that was one that was working in the past from another those have all been pulled from somebody. So
was going to borrow that one and then change the industry and see how we could play around with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And how is the other question is how is the marketplace and prompt place, for want of a better word, going?
Yeah, so that the first kind of iteration or feature that we've done to kind of open the, peel the blinds back has been the clone chatbot feature. So now that that is done,
That's cool. Yeah.
the underlying functionality is there. What I think need to do is calendar booking is like this big wall that's kind of put up in front of us right now that we're trying to throw these grappling hooks to get over it, but they're not big enough yet. So like the second that we're able to get over that, like the field is just wide open with a lot of these different things.
Yeah, too right.
So that's why I would encourage everyone listening to go upvote items on the roadmap that you want to see created next, because that we're starting to take that into even more consideration now, because there's a lot of, I guess, not conflicting ideas, but a lot of agencies that aren't necessarily fully established or not necessarily knowing how to, and they're adding a lot of other features that might not necessarily, be necessary or useful for everyone else that is actively using the platform and, selling this to people. So long way of saying, go upvote on the roadmap. That would be helpful.
High level, and just somebody decides they want a feature and we end up with it as a thing that nobody actually knows even how to use.
Exactly. And that's, we obviously do a lot of filtering through that, because there a lot of people will add stuff that's already there or features that are already made, or things of other things. So yeah, but good things have come out of it. So for example, one of the things that we're adding sooner than later is going to be a webhook for free trials for everybody that's on the agency plan. Like, why, that was one of the things that's like, oh shoot, we totally missed that, but yet a customer was like, oh, I want that, and all right, great, we should make that. So certain things like that are very useful for things that we're so hyper focused on certain features where you guys are coming in on more of a real world use cases. I'm talking to agencies where you guys are talking to businesses. So that, there's a little bit of a filter there, so to speak. So
I had an interesting conversation with a business the other day, and they were talking about how you could link a bot to a POS, i.e. a QR code on a piece of standing advertising. And I thought that had massive potential.
That's interesting, because it could essentially just bring you to a chatbot page, landing page.
Yeah.
One of the ads that we were thinking of doing, because I'm tracking a lot of our competitors with their advertising right now, and this is also something interesting to see. I'm sure you guys as agencies have seen this or even been targeted yourselves, where it's some blonde woman and she's like, I'll put 8 to 15 appointment setters in your business and they'll generate you 30 to 50 meetings, and you don't pay, guarantee you don't pay, blah blah blah, or whatever. Like that mentality, like that, like, oh, that what am I trying to say? That solution that they're selling is what we're providing in a different format. So instead of having someone like on camera being like, I'll put appointment setters in your business, imagine if it was just going, like, sending people to a landing page that has nothing but the chatbot. And if that chatbot is engaging them in a conversational, appointment scheduler, then yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of these things will become a lot clearer once we have the actual functionality to play around with. I think over the last couple of months, everyone's been kind of like, how do we do that? Like, it's not enough, but kind of. And I think this is where it's like, all right, now I know exactly what it is. There's a tangible 1, 2, 3. Here's how I can provide, added value to a business.
I had a client reach out about the fact that we can API. I got the Facebook interaction working really easily
Nice.
after you gave me a little bit of guidance, which was amazing, and hooking that in. And I had a client ask me, could we, he basically wants to position it as almost an assistant. And I think it's a great way to, like, basically walking somebody through a very complex form. And they have this chatbot right next to them to basically ask the chatbot questions about how to fill out the form. And what he was saying that would be really neat. And I'm just throwing this out there, and I think I may have put it on the roadmap or possibly, but the fact that we can API this text conversation out, there's video processing, AI video processing that can actually accept text inbound and then convert it to a video and somebody talking on screen, and almost creating that loop of somebody typing a question and then getting a video response, AI generated video response, because the API was able to send that question out to the video processor. The video it sends it to the chatbot responds, but that response goes to the API of the video processor, and you have that embedded, and then it's responded via video and like conversationally, where like your chatbot is all empowering that, and you're like close to having it all because of that API layer of being able to like send and receive the text. Like I'm not saying that like it's something we should dive down, but I feel as if like what an amazing experience that would be. Somebody going through a pretty complex form, them asking a question, and all of a sudden they're being talked to about the answer. And like you have almost all the pieces there. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of like almost sending that response to like the video processor, and then the video process, somehow embedding that. I don't know that piece of it, how to embed it and then get it.
Okay, I was going to say, what site is that? I want to know what site that is.
I will get it for you. There is a site that does the API. Okay. I will get you the site, but I don't know about the embedding it live and having it respond that quickly. That's the only thing I don't understand. But I do know you can send text as an API to this video processor. It will render the video, and it will put a video together to like respond. Another thing that I saw that would be very useful with that is like, imagine somebody comes in this and you're like, you want to build your course out, right? Like some coursework, and you almost use the chatbot to articulate the coursework, and then it can almost send it to that video type processor. And that's a little bit beyond, but I thought it would be I thought it was a really cool concept. Obviously there's a lot of development that would need to happen with that, but taking this almost to the next level of, instead of just a text response, you're getting like, an AI human to like conversate with you.
Yeah. So you skipped right over voice. You went right to video. we had a client basically tell us that they were doing that with 11 labs with Zapier and functionally sending like, I don't know if they're voice notes or something or voicemails. I don't know, but doing that with our system. So instead of, I think the visual is in the automation, whatever automation builder you're using, instead of it going to just generic OpenAI, you're sending it to the custom chatbot that has all of the knowledge and the flow that is oriented based off of whatever it is that you want to do. That's the key difference. That's the key difference against GHL also, because GHL doesn't give you that functionality. So that's the other thing that you could add in, like for everyone that's GHL agencies, there you go. Like
totally.
You want a custom knowledge base? Well, duh. Like
right.
Right. It's only a matter of time before GHL probably builds that, but
right. Or picks your service up.
Hey, there you go. That might
that's the goal.
I don't know if I would do that to my customers just for the sake of hassle.
Yeah.
$1 billion would talk real loud though, wouldn't it?
That might change my mind. That might change my mind. Yeah. That's good. Dan, you consistently come up with some of the coolest ideas, man.
I appreciate that.
I
have some creative clients. It's almost just what I get from other people, and I work with some pretty creative groups that they challenge the hell out of me, and it's like, oh man, like I'm gonna definitely bring this back to the Stammer guys, because I know you, you guys do such a great job at like just listening to your community and developing what your community wants. Like, yeah, so it's amazing.
Yeah, I was I was on a call with an agency, and she's in the like the beauty space, esthetician kind of beauty space, and I was telling her about the affiliate idea. So for everyone else that maybe is not familiar with this concept, Dan had a great idea about like, okay, well, instead of charging thousands of dollars up front, like what if you offered a chatbot for free to a website and it would answer all the questions just like normal, but then when there was an opportunity to plug a product, that product link would be his affiliate link. And so all the interaction that could happen would be directed towards something that he could monetize on the back end, not on the front. Is that a good summary of that, Dan?
Yeah, 100%.
Generally, yep. Okay. So I was basically, so that concept is gold, like genius. It blew my mind. It's blown so many people's mind. But I was telling this,
I love it.
This agency owner who's in the beauty space, and I'm like, it's kind of similar. You can kind of do a similar thing because it's all based off of that affiliate marketing kind of back end where you know that you're going to make money as long as you provide value up front and then and then make money from providing that value. And it kind of just opened her mind to see like, oh, there's other ways to do this than just trying to sell it as an AI chatbot or even a lead gen or even a calendar booking. It can just be an added value resource that you can then make money on, which is a whole nother like model that I never thought, like, I don't think anybody really thought of until you brought that to the table. So thanks for that.
Awesome.
Sorry, Graham?
Wasn't that Dan's healthy menu thing that he had?
Yes.
That's the thing we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, that's where it came from, was that healthy menu. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. And then there's so many other use cases that you could do with that type of concept too. Like everybody has like affiliate marketing programs these days. Like you just gotta find the concept to fit it in, and like, it's like a getaway to rev share.
And it works perfectly in line with the niches that I was talking about in my big free video course on YouTube about how local businesses with average order values per customer per visit in the $100 to $200 range, the value of that customer lifetime is a few $1,000s minimum. I mean, as long as the service provider is good. So and if you can make a commission, like, I don't know, just it opened up a lot of different opportunities to think about how you could position this to make money as an agency by providing value up front that you can then leverage on the back end to make more money in all these different ways. And just so many different opportunities with this, which is really cool.
Yeah, it is really infinite when you start to like play with it.
Yeah. So Alex posted in here this hour one. So was this it by chance, Dan?
Yeah, it might have been. I will contact the client that brought it to me, but it's very similar to this. Okay. Yeah, human presenters, exactly, an API. I mean, this is, it may not be the exact one, but this is absolutely the concept. Absolutely the concept.
Well, this is cool.
Another thing that might be useful is you see that on ChatGPT, they added that you can upload an image and then ask questions about the image.
Yes.
And then it tells you stuff. Yes. So for example, we have some support for technical support sites. So I think, of course, not now, but ideas where you can, upload like the device, and then it can tell you, okay, so the people can tell you it's broken on this part, right? Or maybe put like an arrow or something.
Yep.
And then it can tell you, oh yes, that part, then you need this accessory, or this is the replacement part that you need. Because you can tell it, like, I did something similar, but then directly on ChatGPT. that could be like great later on in future iterations that you can like
Definitely.
tell like, okay, this is the issue I have, or this is I have you send like a screenshot and it tells you, yes, just do this.
Yeah, perfect.
Based on documents and things internal, that could be like.
That could be huge. One of the, so yes, as soon as OpenAI gives that functionality to us through the API, we will add that like instantly, because that's amazing. 100% agree.
Yeah, having that part that where you can just, upload all the documents and everything. Maybe like if an image is uploaded, like with, like explaining the same like text, right? But with an image, like this part, like a catalog, like this part, like this is number part A, B, C, D, or whatever. And then it knows. So as soon as they send like a picture with the phone of whatever they have, it's like, oh yes, this is this. You should do this. Or
it took OpenAI, I want to say it was like 4 to 5 months. It was like maybe 3 to 4 between their updates with I think, what was it called at the time? Before it was called Advanced Analytics. It was something before that. I forget. But it was about a 3 to 4 month timeline. So I'm expecting that to be about the same for this. That being said, I'm technically, I think it's still technically a beta feature. So I don't know.
I think it is still like in beta.
That would be one of the we're dealing with the limitations that are set by OpenAI in that regard. So yeah. But yeah, once that's out, we'll definitely be able to add that. Hey Bill, how's it going?
Sorry, I'm late.
Any questions or anything I can help you out with?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get started. So
cool.
I was at a conference all last week, so I'm running a little behind on getting this kind of going. I think I've got one half built, kind of half built bot. So I don't even know if I'm not far enough in to even have my questions organized. So I didn't. I just wanted to jump in here and see where we were on this.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for joining. If you have any questions, at any time, just feel free to shout them out, or hey Tim.
Okay.
Where's this giraffe costume?
Yeah, where's
Yeah, he didn't get it shipped to me.
There's a good excuse. So I gave everybody a quick little demo of the scheduling, going over some of the updates that we're going to be integrating prior to initial release, and future features as well.
Great.
Let's see what else. So
is anybody else? I guess if I do have a question, it's going to be on the APIs and integrating with a system that we already have. I'm trying to keep everybody on that platform. So iFrame, is there a way to do this? We're using our operating system as high level. So.
Gotcha. Yeah. So getting a custom menu link. Yeah. That's on our roadmap. We'll probably get that done right after we get the calendar booking feature out. That's our next feature that we're going to be pushing in the next week. And once that's out, yep, I can show you a quick little screenshot of that. So basically, like inside the platform, you'll be able to connect to GHL, Outlook, Zoom, or Google. And what will happen is you can basically train the chatbot to schedule a meeting with a user based off of the current availability on your calendar.
Right. And and that's all conversational in the booking?
Correct. Yeah. So that's going to be, I was mentioning a little bit earlier, but we've been working on that for the last couple of weeks. It's rather complex based off of a lot of the time zone stuff. So we're trying to make it work really well for the majority of the edge cases and the use cases that people are using it for. And then we're going to release to everybody so that way they can start using it. So that should come out in the next week or so. And then we'll be continuing to build and iterate on top of that.
Right. Any future plans for getting the bots talking to each other? Workforce AI?
In what do you mean? What would be the use case?
The use case would be you have an AI, or sorry, you have an idea agent that is already familiar with your product line, your value proposition, your buyer personas, and it comes up with some ideas and then connects with your marketing AI agent, and they have a little back and forth to come up with an idea, and then that goes to a human for approval or iteration of it. So I've got a white paper on it I can share with you if there's not a lot of people that are this is really new stuff that's coming along. So that's why I was just asking.
Gotcha. No plans for that, but yeah, I'm happy to review, kind of whatever you'd like to send over.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
And then Ross and I did kind of investigate that functionality using a different tool at one time early on. And the results were not super impressive. But then again, that was before GPT-4. But what would essentially happen, Ross, I don't know if you remember the name of that tool, but it would just get stuck in massive loops, running up your credits, and they would start just kind of playing off of each other and get stuck in a loop.
I can imagine.
AutoGen is a really cool, like very similar to what you're talking about, Bill. Like AutoGen is. Have you heard of AutoGen?
Oh yeah. So that's why that's part of what led to the research on this.
Yeah. Like if you guys looked at AutoGen is very similar to what Bill's talking about. Like that's and what they set up as an example is they have a developer and then a debugger. And then basically the developer agent will like write the script and then it will pass it to the debugger. The debugger would run the script and be like, actually it failed here, here, and here. It would throw it back to the developer bot. The developer bot would change all the errors and then send it back to the debug bot. And then it has a little bit of a back and forth, and then it sorts out the code for you. And it's like, here's the actual like running clean version that actually executes. Like there's interesting cases. I think your tool is a little bit more specific to like really a one-on-one use case with a business focus. But like, yeah, AutoGen is a great example of that kind of back and forth.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, I'm not gonna say we won't ever do it, but this is definitely outside of the scope of our current platform or our current use cases. Where I think this could be beneficial is we could kind of make this functionality available in certain regard. Like it's possible. I'll say that. Yeah, this is cool. We'll look into this more.
Yeah, definitely.
AutoGen thing.
If I can find the white paper on it, I'm happy to share it with you if I can.
Okay.
Figure out what I did with it.
Yeah. Cool. So if there's any other, AI bot related stuff,
Yes.
Yep.
I was maybe it was answered before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm sorry if it is. Like if you have it connected to Go High Level, for example, the bot according to the instructions, and I have tested it, it works fine. How can you make it that if someone asks, like, I want to speak with a human, or someone takes over the chat on the side of Go High Level, or let's say is connected to the Facebook chat or whatever, can take over the conversation and the bot to stop responding?
Yes.
The shut up feature.
Yeah, shut up.
You have to put it on the base prompt if they say like internally stop.
Yeah, so
now.
The way that we would probably do that is in GHL, we would set up a filter to look for that message when that user's message comes through. So the trigger step would be new message from Facebook or wherever. The first step would say, if this message from the user matches this text, and this text would say, I want to talk to a human. If that it returns a true value, then nothing happens. It just ends. If not, it would then send their response to the AI chatbot, which then generates a response, which then they would receive as the response.
So maybe additionally, then it has to be like somehow the contact tag. So any message afterwards, at least for a period of time, it doesn't, because of course that message will skip the next one, but then further messages should be skip all of them, right? So it should be like something like exactly like this, but like tagging also the contact or something, so it stops for that person totally. Like it doesn't never go back in again, right? Kind of.
Got
Probably.
it. Yeah. So what you could do is on that, in that no, or like in that true step, add a customer tag that says AI chatbot stop or something. And then that tag signifies in the top step, if they have this tag, don't do the message.
Okay.
I can make a tutorial for this because I know this is like super arbitrary just saying it.
Or remove from workflow, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just a remove from workflow feature, right?
That would work as well.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good question, Tim. This is something that we were talking about yesterday, where I was trying to make it work for one of the use cases for my Instagram. And what I want to have happen is I want the chatbot to send the response, send the value resources, but then stop. That's it. And the benefit to me is, instead of having to make 30 different automations, I make one bot that knows all 30 different value props. And then when someone sends one of the 30 value props to the bot, it responds with the correct value resource. So that scenario, which you just mentioned, JL, it matches that scenario, that use case that I just said. So I'll make a tutorial that goes over that whole thing on how to create a chatbot that sits behind your social media that will stop at a certain point.
Okay. Yeah, great.
And question for you, Ross.
Yeah.
I hooked it into to Facebook. And I'm just curious, is there any way to get it to like hook into messaging and Instagram or like any of these other platforms? Or is it really a kind of like, have you found other social platforms that you can enable with this? Or is it really like a Facebook specific right now?
With GHL, works great with any of them. So Instagram, Facebook, GMB.
So you would just integrate the chatbot with GHL and then GHL with those social platforms, and then it would run it for you?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. I need to get into GHL more.
Yeah, that, and then GHL is adding just a slew of updates this week, last week, next week. So if it's not already there, they added a native WhatsApp integration. You don't even need to go to their app marketplace anymore. So you can now have that as an additional channel on top of SMS inside of GHL, which is ridiculous.
Can you do this with SMS in GHL?
Yeah, that's already there.
Oh shit.
It gets wonky though, because GHL's A2P verification process with Twilio, they're strict. They're pretty strict on this. And with this whole process, if anybody's not familiar, you basically have to submit examples of the messages that your bot or that you're going to send via SMS. And
oh my God.
Yeah, see, yeah. So
like
if those are different or they don't match, or like, then you're at risk for getting that account shut down or even being fined which is what none of us want. I mean, that's not a likelihood, knock on wood, but like, that's the whole reason for this process, is to make sure that everyone's verified. So
Gotcha.
there's a big asterisk with SMS and using AI to create an SMS response, because we don't necessarily know what is going to be in that response, which could conflict with SMS laws.
Gotcha.
Be careful.
Like compliance. Yeah,
Be careful.
gotcha.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
that's still handled. Is that handled in through the wizard set up in the phone? Where you set up the phone, is that the same place that's managed where you give them your opt-in information?
correct. Yeah. So
Okay.
if you get your brand approved through the A2P 10DLC process, then theoretically you're good.
Yeah,
Where it
gotcha.
gets kind of dicey is if you start sending, like, let's say someone goes onto an AI chat behind SMS and they start chatting with it for an hour, and you start going over, and then there's like 10 people that are doing that, you're going to hit your SMS limits very quickly within what GHL and Twilio give you. It all being like, SMS is sketchy. That's basically what I want to convey. Like, be careful, you know, doing something that you can get in trouble with, basically. Like WhatsApp, we're okay.
Makes sense.
All these chat platforms were okay because nothing can happen, or nothing, like, there's no legal quote unquote repercussions, but there's legitimate law firms out there that are their only goal is to find businesses that are in violation of A2P and will fine you $500 per message. That's insane. So
I had a $6,000 fine, and it was by somebody that actually it's an attorney that does this for a living. He goes out and submits stuff and just tries to entrap you.
okay, thank you so much for confirming that. I mean, there you go. That's all that needs to be said.
Thank you for the warning.
Yep. You're welcome. That's insane. Sorry that happened to you, Bill, but damn.
Yeah, it's wild.
My last company.
Dang. Yeah. Well, so yeah, everyone keep an eye out for all that. Damn. Okay, so there's one piece of information. It's all related to how, as agencies, we get new clients. This is something that, so if you're not following me on Instagram, social media, my name's Ecom Ross. I'm trying a lot of different things with social media to try to figure out what will generate me the most clients, the most action, the most response. The overarching strategy and funnel that I've been using for the last 6 months has all relied on Instagram DMs as being a way to drive leads for anything that I'm doing. And it's all value based. And if you watched some of my videos in the past, you've seen this tutorial, but essentially we create content that prompts people to DM me to get more free information, at which point I send them a second DM that prompts them to be, hey, are you interested in AI and automation? If yes, then go here. And then when they go to that link, that's my course, which I then get their information, and then I can get them into the platform and upsell them. What I would like to share with everyone today is a new format that is crushing on Instagram right now. And it's something that you might have already seen or you might have noticed. But when I showed this to Tim, he was like, oh, I see it. But now that you've told me, like, I register it. So I wanted to share that information with everyone else here as well. So the format is carousel. So I've tried, videos, reels, carousels that look like Twitter posts or whatever. And this latest format that I'm trying is a carousel format where the first slide in the carousel is like a quote unquote thumbnail of what the video in the second slide is of. Okay. So one of the reasons why this format I think is working really well is because Instagram shows carousels twice to every single one of your followers, which helps the post propel it further to people who don't follow you. which then helps the post go viral. And so what happens is, like, when you post something like this, it will be shown to your followers with this first slide. If they interact with it, great. But if they don't, if they come back to Instagram later in the day, Instagram will show them the same post, but the slide that they'll see is this post, is this slide. It'll be the video slide, which is the actual content, the actual meat of the content. So it's like we're essentially getting 2 opportunities per post to engage with users. And the third slide of this is the call to action to get more information, which is what I'm using to then drive people to sign up for my course or for a free trial. And this is different from when I was just posting this video with just a call to action, nothing else. So if you're on social media, if you're on Instagram specifically, what I would recommend trying to do is take one of your best performing videos or pieces of content and then repost it in this new format where it's a carousel, where you're creating a thumbnail, then the video, then a call to action slide, and then see how that goes.
Super interesting.
So yeah. Hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely interesting. If you haven't gotten that far into making videos yet, then
Definitely. Yeah. And I think once we're able to, I guess, have more dedicated use cases where I can like make a video of like, here's an AI chatbot that, you know, talked, because that one post that I did, I mean, got me probably 200-300 DMs over the last 24 hours. All of that right now is being run through like many chat flows that are like, you do this, then you do this, then it's done. It's not conversational at all. And that's partly because my Instagram is my most valuable asset. So I don't want Instagram to do anything with that for me. So instead of having people spam me and, you know, I was like, I just don't want to do that yet. Once we get to that point,
you limit your response though on your, if you use that conversational, you're using your own product on that. Can't you limit it to 10 replies or something and tell them to schedule an appointment or sign up?
Oh yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, it was just, I want to try to put my best foot forward behind making a piece of content that showcases what it is that I'm trying to actually sell. And until we have the feature of calendar booking out and available, I only feel comfortable showcasing it to folks like yourself, not necessarily the public, because the public, well, why doesn't Zoom connect? Like you guys, I can explain it over an hour rather than having to explain it in 15 to 30 seconds.
But Ross, you know your call to action, the DM. So you put the statement, whatever the call to action is in the DM. Can that workflow at the back end then? That could be for anything. That could be for sign up for a free trial or download a brochure or
anything. Yeah,
anything.
And the power of it is the second DM in that flow, and that's where it transitions someone to becoming just interested in your free stuff to potentially being a prospect for your paid stuff. And so what happens is, like, when this starts going off at scale, I will see, you know, I'll get DMs of people that go through the flow, and then some people might not say yes to that secondary DM. It says, by the way, want to learn how to use AI? Like, this guy did not respond yes, so it doesn't continue the automation. So I know that this guy is probably not an ideal customer or somebody I'm interested in trying to convert. Whereas somebody else who might be like, you know, yes, thank you so much, and then have a question about, like, I know that's someone that's actually interested. And what's cool is the automation does that entire first 80% So that way, when I open up my Instagram DMs in the morning, I'm responding to like the 5th message that user has engaged with me already. So they get the first piece of free value. Then like, oh, awesome. This is great. Thank you so much. Yes, I want the second piece. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Hey, how does this part work in, the embed? And then that's the message that I have as unread. So like when I go to my Instagrams, I have like hot prospects, so to speak, that have warmed themselves up already with the automation. So that way, then I can go in and just be like, hey, do you want to book a meeting? And that's the transition that I want to make to the bot. Once the bot can actually book the meeting, then I will sit my bot behind my Instagram.
Wow.
Very cool.
Which
Yeah,
is
it's incredible.
wild. Yeah. So
I have a quick question with that, if I may.
Yeah.
I was talking about another use case or scenario, cold emailing and stuff.
Mhm.
And you were talking about the free value in
Yeah.
as a blog post or something like that. And then to not to sell the product per se, but to sell the meeting, to sell the interaction, right?
Mhm.
At the end of the funnel, right now the website I have for the agency, so to speak, is not just the chatbot, but you said it could be just the chatbot. Would you say that's viable, just to have the chatbot that would tell them everything and not really any additional text information in that?
I think it would be it works because I'm biased with an audience. So people have some sort of inherent trust with me as having an audience to where I can not have those other things and it still be a viable solution.
Right.
I don't know, and this is, I'm just being completely honest. I don't know if that same mentality is transferred over when that audience doesn't exist or is not there.
Right.
I think it's worth testing to see.
For sure. Right. Thanks.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Because I can, my perspective is with an audience. So it's always kind of take my advice with a grain of salt within that, within that regard.
Yeah, right. Of course. Makes sense. Yeah, it makes it seem like it would be people that have to engage with the chatbot and then get to see what it would do. But at the same time, it would lose that traditional website feel when you don't have any additional information, and that could potentially get some people away from that.
The way that I'm thinking of structuring this is if I'm running an ad and I'm pushing traffic to a landing page that is just the chatbot, that page that is just the chatbot is going to be Stammer.ai / something. And I know that most likely agency owners who are any sort of technical savvy are going to go and remove the / and just go to the domain. They're going to do their research. So in that same vein, like you could have both. You're positioning the one without all the extra stuff first, assuming that people are going to go to the main homepage also.
That's an interesting take, right?
Yeah, I mean, this actually might be one of the things that's actually useful for like heat map stuff, like actually seeing where people go. If they're engaging on that page and the heat map is on the chatbot versus on the the URL bar, then that people are actually engaging and not going to the other side. We just installed the heat maps on our stuff, so we're trying to figure out the usefulness of all the heat map stuff. So,
oh, cool, thanks.
Yeah. All right. Any last questions? Everyone good?
I've got a cheeky ask.
Okay.
So we just launched this afternoon. We just launched the front end website for our agency to sell the chatbots.
Nice. Okay.
I just wondered if it would be okay just to give that a bit of a preview.
Sure. Yeah.
I've reached out to Tim already, and I'm going to ask him to do a bit of a subscription trial. But I've just put the URL in the chat there.
There you go. Oh, animation. What'd you build it on?
So we built on WordPress. We've used Elementor. And the idea is that we've got a workflow here that basically explains a bit more about the chatbot first, gives them a demo that they can try in there, sells them the benefits in this section here. One of the things I picked up from our previous office hours calls was the use cases. There's a whole section on where it can be potentially used. Each of those is a little flip tile, so they've got information on the back of them. And then at the bottom, as you scroll down, we've got how to get it out there. We'll have a little video on here as well in terms of how the demo will work. And then we've got our pricing platform. So we jumped straight in with our free trial offer, which I'm hoping then people will upscale. That probably will be the most the item with the most take up, I guess. We've loaded that with 250 credits rather than the 50 credits. So it gives them a chance to sort of play around with the chatbot inside their free trial account. And then they can jump to the upsell.
Nice. So my one piece of feedback would be the images that you're using.
Interesting to see how it's formatting on your screen, actually.
Is it normally? I like this. I would say my one piece of feedback would be, I think the images make it look a little templated. Is this what you're saying? Like how it's showing up weird here?
Yeah, we'll have a play around with this now, but we can see it on different screens and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
We generated all the images in Midjourney, actually, some quite clever prompts.
Yeah.
But I'd like to put some use case, some real life stuff as we get new customers on board and use some proper photography and some images in there. Some are okay. Some are a bit very much sort of AI orientated.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, I like it. It's just like I'm feeling like it's not like a full thing. Like it's not or that's not the right way to say it. I don't know, it feels like the branding is only at the top and at the bottom. Maybe I'm trying to give useful feedback here.
One of the things I liked about your Stammer site is that you have the little you have the mobile phone with the GIF running, and it has the I'm really keen to get something like that on there.
That is from a site called jitter.video. I'll put that in the chat for everybody. That's a free animation website, which is kind of cool. Cool.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, Bill, we'll reach out.
Well, I've got an enterprise project that I just quoted a ridiculous amount of money to, and I'm not even sure how to spend it.
All righty. Yeah, we're talking about our own conference now too. After just following, I mean, so much of it, what we're doing, we're modeling after GHL. Or even like a little bit of ClickFunnels. Like I was like, I want to make some of those plaques that ClickFunnels gives out as like, oh, here's Stammer Gold or, you know, Platinum or whatever. I don't know. I think that'd be funny.
Were you there last? Did you go to the conference?
No,
Okay.
we've been building. We're in hardcore build mode.
Well, I hear you.
If you'll be at CES, we'll be at CES though.
I never missed the ES except for during the pandemic. So that was
Nice. Cool. Alrighty, guys. Well, I think we'll end it here.
Right.
I'll put the
Thanks, Ross.
yeah, you're welcome. I'm gonna put the Discord one more time in the chat here. This is definitely like where Tim and I are starting to just kind of hang out here in the Discord more often. So
you guys have blockchain background or something, or crypto?
oh no. I
was just curious because it seems like everybody on Discord normally that's where it's coming from. So
it's funny. I was actually I started using Discord back in like 2015, 2016 when I was running my website development agency, and then it got overtaken by crypto, and it seems like it's kind of coming back in the sense like Stripe's community is in Discord. Like what?
I think Discord is I think Discord is really just, they have so much. It's really like, I feel like people are just starting to adopt it because it's a very easy community tool.
Yeah. It becoming like the default.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Slack is more of an internal tool and Discord's more of like an external community tool.
Yeah.
That's exactly. Yeah. We use Slack internally and then Discord for external community building.
once
Cool.
Bitcoin starts making this next cycle, then you'll see everybody forming back onto Discord again too.
Yep.
For
yeah. Cool. Alrighty. Well, thanks guys. Happy Halloween. Hope everyone has a good time.
Halloween.
Talk to you guys next
See you
week.
later.
See ya.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.